Hey guys, it's Amanda and welcome back to another aesthetic transformation. So I've already done cottagecore and dark academia, which are kind of like sister aesthetics, but today I'm going to be transforming into a y2k early 2000s mcbling kind of aesthetic, which is more like a second cousin twice removed. But anyway, this aesthetic has been pretty popular lately. And also, all those words I just said, y2k means year 2000 if you don't know. And then early 2000s, self-explanatory. mcbling is like the real true name of the aesthetic that I'm really transforming into, but they kind of all get lumped into one big thing. Although y2k is more about like futurism stuff.
Silver, Sonic, future running, Barbie, Volkswagen, new Beetle. Silver, so today, so tomorrow.
And mcbling is more just about excess and luxury. Anyway, the year's 2020, so now like early 2000s fashion is kind of starting to come back. Per usual, the first thing I'm going to do is change the vibes, the aura, the atmosphere, if you will. Before I go any further, I would like to thank shoptagger for sponsoring this part of the video. Shoptagger is an online shopping tool that I actually use to help me get some outfit inspiration for this video. Obviously, going shopping at the mall isn't ideal right now, so I've been doing a lot of online shopping, and even for this video, in order to get like an outfit for my y2k transformation, I did some online shopping and used shoptagger to help me out. Shoptagger is a great tool to use when you're online shopping because whenever you save something to a list, if it goes on sale or if it comes back in stock, shoptagger will send an email notification or a mobile push notification to let you know. So here's my y2k list, and you can make all different kinds of lists to organize whatever products you might want. And another great thing about this service is that it scans the web for coupon codes and applies them at checkout, which is great because whenever I purchase anything online, I just have to search for a coupon code for peace of mind, so this saves me a lot of time. Also, if you shop from select retail partners, you can earn cashback via PayPal. If you're interested, you can use the link in my description to download shoptagger. Now back to the video. So, like any good early 2000s movie, this video is going to have a makeover montage.
Who is that sad little person? Are we doing a before and after piece I don't know about?
I feel like with early 2000s fashion, there's some outfits you look back on and you're like, wait, why did we stop doing that? That was actually so cute. And then you remember that skirts over jeans existed. Like skirts over bootcut jeans. Then you're like, oh yeah, that's why we stopped. Thank God. Okay, so now for my makeover. Obviously I have to show you the before first. So this is the before look. Wearing one of those shirts that I got from the little boys section in the Salvation Army. So from all my research, I have concluded that the two key elements of early 2000s makeup was lip liner and bling. I never really wear lip liner, so this should be interesting. Okay, well I think this is good enough for lip liner. Now let's just do let's fill it in. You know what, this doesn't look terrible. Oh, wait, guys, I'm not mad at this. It's different, but I'm not mad at it. Next I'm gonna do some kohl eyeliner because that was pretty popular back in the day, I guess. Oh my gosh, whenever I'm doing makeup, I like forget to talk to the camera because I can't like multitask. Anyway, I'm gonna add some color on the inner corners. And now for the most important part, which is obviously some bling. So many options, I don't even know where to put it. So I just did a little sparkle on each side of my eye because these are way harder to put on than I thought they would be. So my appearance is basically complete for this aesthetic transformation. We got our outfit, we got our makeup. is cute or whatever. So you guys know I like to go beyond just appearance for these aesthetic transformations, but unfortunately I do not have a Tamagotchi or a flip phone or access to a high school where I can assert my dominance over other teens in the name of popularity. So I'm gonna see if one of those early 2000s like dress up game websites still exists and play on that, because that was my childhood. Okay, so I'm searching for mcbling because that was the game that was like the dress up game I always used to play. People always want to mow their lawn when I'm filming a video. It's unfortunate. This is like not the original website, but it seems like it's like the same game. Let's be Madison. Oh wow, this is just bringing back some flashbacks. Let's see a little blush, some blue eyeshadow. That's very like 2000s. Some mascara, I'll do that. Yes. Contacts, let's just make her eyes brown. Lipstick and gloss. Jewelry time. Let's do these diamonds, those are cute. The memories this is bringing back right now. All done. Wow, that was fast. That was really fast. I feel like when I was a kid I would spend like many minutes on doing this. Okay, I hate to say it, I really do, but I'm kind of out of ideas for this aesthetic transformation. I feel like with the early 2000s, it's like a little bit different. Like, what activities did they do? The early 2000s was a lot about technology and entertainment, although it's not as advanced as what we have now. And it was also, I feel like it was a lot about excess and materialism and luxury. Like a huge part of the early 2000s and like the mcbling aesthetic was just like brands and logos like everywhere, which I still feel like we kind of live in that. I mean, obviously, you know, we live in this like capitalist society, so I mean, showing off like wealth and luxury is, I feel like, it's always gonna kind of be a part of that. I mean, okay, it's funny that I'm saying this because yesterday I was watching this documentary called Generation Wealth by Lauren Greenfield. You can watch it on Amazon Prime. It's really, really interesting and good. It was actually my second time watching it because I don't know, I felt like rewatching it. It was basically this documentary that was all about just like America's culture of addiction kind of to wealth, and how much importance we put on that, on wealth and like appearance of wealth at least. And I was watching that and I was like, that was made in 2018, so I don't think this culture has necessarily like gone away, but in terms of style, there definitely was a period where it was like seen as tacky to have like a bunch of name brands and to be super gaudy and garish. And you know, like with the whole like minimalism thing, see like Kim Kardashian, like the nexus of American culture. Like look at her, how she dressed in like the early 2000s versus in like more of the 2010s. Like she took on such more like minimalist, like sleek type of appearance. Like even her house, she used to live in that like Italian villa type of house, and then she like lived in this like museum. But yeah, I don't know, I feel like the early 2000s, like when I think back on it, I remember, I feel like it was just like about like stuff. Like you just always, or at least I did, I just always wanted stuff. I remember I got like $50 for my birthday once, and the first thing I wanted to do, I was probably like maybe 6 or 7, and the first thing I wanted to do was spend it. I wanted to go to TJ Maxx to get this like Bratz doll room set. Also Bratz, let's talk about Bratz because wow, what a time to be alive. I was personally a Bratz kid. If you were a Bratz kid, you are now a baddie. I don't make the rules, it's just facts. Also, yeah, I feel like Bratz are kind of inspiring this whole like, they're kind of like a fashion inspiration for this whole like y2k early 2000s comeback right now. I think even Dolls Kill, I know they're problematic, but I know that they're even doing like a Bratz doll collection, which is like, it's so funny and so telling that like these dolls that we played with when we were like 5, 6, 7 years old, suddenly now we want to dress like them as like 20-year-olds, which is pretty crazy. Anyway, yeah, I don't really know what the whole point of this tangent was. Oh yeah, it's just to say I feel like I've always just been super interested and fascinated by like people with a lot of wealth who live these like excess and luxurious lifestyles. For example, this book, The Bling Ring, I got in like middle school, and I was so fascinated by this concept, by like this, when I heard about this story. So if you don't know what The Bling Ring is, it's basically the name that this journalist, Nancy Jo Sales, gave this group of they were pretty rich kids in like Calabasas, California, but they decided to rob like celebrities' houses because even though they were like quite well off, like upper middle class, they just wanted more. They felt like what they didn't have was enough. So I was like obsessed with this like concept like in middle school when I found out about it. Like I read the book, like I saw the movie, I read the Vanity Fair articles. I started watching Pretty Wild, which is the reality show that one of the actual people from the Bling Ring, they got a reality show. And that's where this piece of what we now know as cinematic art comes from.
Nancy Jo, this is Alexis Nyers calling. I'm calling to let you know how disappointed. Nancy Jo, this is Alexis Nyers. I'm calling to let you know how disappointed I am in your story. How horrible you me.
You
and this
lied.
Stop.
You lied.
Stop it.
Show it.
Stop it,
You
Mom.
lied.
Stop.
That's like my favorite clip of reality TV of all time. I don't know where her Emmy is. She deserves one. Yeah, I was kind of just like always fascinated by all this world of luxury and stuff. I'm still like interested in this stuff now, but when I look at it, it's from a different perspective. It's less of like something I aspire to and more of like a just like I'm like fascinated by these creatures. But yeah, I don't know what was the point of that tangent. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, because like the early 2000s definitely felt like that age of like decadence and luxury, but then we definitely got, I feel like we got more into like the minimalist type of luxury. As you can see by like, oh my gosh, the change of like how branding is from the early 2000s to like 2010s is like day and night. Or even just like shopping online, like looking at all the different like companies and the ads that were popping up, like everything was so like minimalist. It was like a sans serif font, it was just like block letters, it was like here's what you need to know. Even just like packaging on food, everything became so like sleek and so like simplified. But I mean, I guess it's interesting that we're kind of getting back into this early 2000s fashions again, so I'm interested to see how that will like affect like branding and just like other, I don't know, aspects of our life and our culture again, if like we as a whole will get more back into that like excess luxury kind of style. I mean, I don't think it ever really truly went away, but I guess just more to the forefront again. If you watched this far, thank you very much for listening to my rambling thoughts, because anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching this far if you did, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.